walk the talk sometimes and put your money where your mouth is. That's exactly what Elon Musk has done. He has been at the forefront of pushing for Bitcoin, saying he really believes in it. The cryptocurrency is the future. And now his company Tesla has gone ahead and invested $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. What's more, in their statement, they've said that in the future, they will attempt to allow purchases to be made using the cryptocurrency. Now, if that happens, that will truly be a game changer. Let me go across to my colleague Mubina, who's breaking down the story for us and also explaining this phenomenal rise of Bitcoin, which now, after this boost of confidence, has risen about 14% to new lifetime highs.
Just when we thought that we are entering a period of lull for cryptocurrencies and more particularly Bitcoin, Tesla announced that it's making an investment of $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. This sent the price of the cryptocurrency soaring to a record high of $43,625. In fact, that's not all. It also said that it expects to begin accepting payment for its cars and other products with it in the near future, prompting a more than 8% jump in the cryptocurrency. So from Sunday, the price of the Bitcoin has jumped to 10%. And of course, since October, it has trebled. Tesla also said that this decision was a part of its broad investment policy as a company, and it was aiming at diversifying and maximizing its returns on cash. So it has also said now that it's going to be acquiring and holding digital assets from time to time or the long term. Remember that we did have Elon Musk as well tweeting about how he bought Bitcoins and it sent the prices soaring. This time around as well, no exception to that. Tesla's investment essentially is another sign of this widespread acceptance of cryptocurrency as a type of investment, as a form of payment as well. And as more and more institutional investor interest is being seen in cryptocurrency, the more retail acceptance as well is being felt.
Right, let's turn our attention to all the action in Parliament, where the farm laws and the protests over farm laws, which have been on since November last year, have been at the center of focus. The opposition has been demanding a separate session on farm laws itself. Now, the Prime Minister spoke today in Parliament and in a fairly long speech answered all of his critics on various facets with a lot of new political terms that he has introduced to the lexicon, one of them being Andolan Jeevi. Listen in first to the highlights of that speech.
लगातार किसानों से बातचीत कर रहे हैं, लगातार मीटिंगें हो रही हैं और अभी तक कोई तनाव पैदा नहीं हुआ है। एक दूसरे की बात को समझने का, समझाने का प्रयास चल रहा है और हम लगातार आंदोलन से जुड़े लोगों से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि आप आंदोलन करना आपका हक है, लेकिन इस प्रकार से बुजुर्ग लोग वहाँ बैठे ये ठीक नहीं है। आप उनको सबको ले जाइए, आप आंदोलन को खत्म कीजिए, आगे बढ़ने के लिए मिल बैठ करके चर्चा करेंगे, रास्ता खुले है। ये सब हमने कहा है, मैं आज भी इस सदन से माध्यम से भी निमंत्रण देता हूँ। देश प्रगति कर रहा है, हम एफडीआई की बात कर रहे हैं, फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट, लेकिन मैं देख रहा हूँ इन दिनों एक नया एफडीआई मैदान में है। ये नए एफडीआई से देश को बचाना है, एफडीआई चाहिए, फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट, लेकिन ये जो नया एफडीआई आज नजर पे आ रहा है, ये नए एफडीआई से जरूर बचना होगा और ये नया एफडीआई है फॉरेन डायरेक्ट डिस्ट्रक्टिव आइडियोलॉजी, फॉरेन डिस्ट्रक्टिव आइडियोलॉजी। और इसलिए इस एफडीआई से देश को बचाने के लिए हमने और जागरूक रहने की जरूरत है। दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी डेमोक्रेसी, सुनते हैं हमको भी अच्छा लगता है, हाँ यार भारत विश्व की सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र, लेकिन हमने अपने युवा पीढ़ी को ये सिखाया नहीं कि भारत ये मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है, ये लोकतंत्र की जननी है। हम सिर्फ बड़ा लोकतंत्र है ऐसा नहीं है, यह देश लोकतंत्र की जननी है। हमारा लोकतंत्र किसी भी मायने में वेस्टर्न इंस्टीट्यूशन नहीं है, ये एक ह्यूमन इंस्टीट्यूशन है। भारत का इतिहास लोकतांत्रिक संस्थानों के उदाहरणों से भरा पड़ा है। प्राचीन भारत में 81 गणतंत्रों का वर्णन हमें मिलता है। आज देशवासियों को भारत के राष्ट्रवाद पर चौतरफा हो रहे हमले से आगाह करना जरूरी है। हम लोग कुछ शब्दों से बड़े परिचित हैं। श्रमजीवी, बुद्धिजीवी, ये सारे शब्दों से परिचित हैं। लेकिन मैं देख रहा हूं कि पिछले कुछ समय से इस देश में एक नई जमात पैदा हुई है, एक नई बिरादरी सामने आई है, और वो है आंदोलनजीवी। ये जमात आप देखोगे, वकीलों का आंदोलन है वो ना वहां नजर आएंगे, स्टूडेंट का आंदोलन है वो वहां नजर आएंगे, मजदूर का आंदोलन है वो वहां नजर आएंगे, कभी पर्दे के पीछे कभी पर्दे के आगे। एक पूरी टोली है जो आंदोलनजीवी है। वो आंदोलन के बिना जी नहीं सकते हैं और आंदोलन से जीने के लिए रास्ते खोजते रहते हैं। हमें ऐसे लोगों को पहचानना होगा कि वो जो सब जगह पे पहुंच करके और बड़ा आइडियोलॉजिकल स्टैंड दे देते हैं, गुमराह कर देते हैं, नए नए तरीके ढूंढवा बता देते हैं। देश आंदोलनजीवी लोगों से बचे, इसके लिए ऐसे लोगों को पहचानने की बहुत आवश्यकता है।
All right, Sanjeev Srivastava and Tejas Mehta joining us on this chat to, decode the political impact and the implications of this speech. Sanjeev, very interesting stance here. So the opposition is like a puppy who hasn't been invited to the wedding. Protesters are Andolanjeevis / parasites, and FDR is foreign interference, really. Do you think that there is a new template being set for political attacks on opponents?
I think the new template has been set for a while now, and but nobody puts it into perspective and brings it into sharper focus than the Prime Minister. I think his speech today ranged from statesman-like at times when he talked about how the country's democracy is the mother of all democracies, and that's again part of the nationalism pitch and the glorious past that India had, to a very political, this Andolanjeevi thing was very political. But when he referred to Manmohan Singh ji's comments about reform and farm laws are needed, then he was being again very combative, referring to Shastri. I think it was a very considered, deliberate, measured speech in which we saw the fiery Prime Minister, that angle where he's a street fighter, combative, to rising to the occasion, again reaching out to the farmers and making a promise and assurance on MSP. The issue is, why isn't that written in the law, as farmers' representatives say? But again, it's very difficult to decipher Mr. Modi in one particular class. So today's speech was again a mix of all those, statesman, politician, combative street fighter, all rolled into one.
Tejas, the reason why I bring this up is over the last year or so, we've heard Prime Minister Modi speak more in the context of COVID-19, the economic impact of COVID-19 and the measures the government has been taking. And it has been a very call to action kind of point of view we've been hearing for the PM. Today, it seemed like he was in form, in maybe election mode ahead of West Bengal and ready to take on opponents. Do you think these words that have been coined, these terms that have been coined like Andolanjeevi and FDI, etc., are really going to help politically? They're finding resonance somewhere.
Well, certainly, because this is not just about the farm laws. This was he touched many other issues, including COVID-19 once again. So I think he certainly has the elections in Bengal and many other places in mind. So he would be looking at catering to those kind of audiences also. But coming back to this Andolanjeevi, I think in earlier terms you would have heard it also as vested interest, or those who love to romance the rebellion or romance the revolution constantly, where the love is for actually the revolution and the idea of the revolution and the rebellion rather than the cause itself. So yeah, this is a new Hindi term he has given. So I mean, he had to somewhere hit out also at the elements who were involved. Of course, the good thing, as Sanjeev pointed out also, he has delinked the Sikhs community per se with those creating the violence, putting it on foreign powers or foreign interests who have some sort of stake here in this entire game. He, of course, did not mention Khalistan once also, though there was, we have been hearing about how these Khalistani groups have been in some way involved with the entire, organization of the campaign abroad. But he didn't touch that. So I think it was a good thing, because we have been hearing a lot of rhetoric from political BJP leaders who have been always saying there have been terrorists who have been involved, and bringing the Khalistani angle into the Sikh community. I think that was a dangerous game to play. I think the Sam Dam Dand Bhed, the Bhed creating division didn't really work for the BJP. I think it's dawning that they have to create a broader consensus, a wider acceptance has to be there of these bills. I'm sure many would be wishing that consulted a lot of these, smaller groups and not lost the Akali on the way. So I think this is a great speech. A statesmanly is reaching out to various different, political rivals, also praising Manmohan Singh, bringing in Lal Bahadur Shastri, but also, bringing data into the entire picture, saying that, listen, this is not just about, the farmers who are protesting. Many who could be, reasonably well off compared to farmers of other parts of India, but it's also about the small farmer, because it's they who are not getting the benefits of the MSP, unlike many in Punjab and Haryana who have received the benefits. In fact, latest data shows that in Punjab, MSP has gone up by 33%. This is also about the small and marginal farmer. So I think it is great.
Yeah.
He has touched many things.
But
Of course, the point is,
but we're not going into the merits or demerits of the farm laws. Tejas, we're not going into the merits or demerits of the farm laws, because we've discussed that extensively on this show with agricultural experts as well, and there are many nuances to that discussion. I want to look at the sort of political counter to the farmer protests, which are definitely becoming a huge pressure point for the government, one would say, Sanjeev, because look at the concerted pushback. So those who are protesting, or serial protesters, have now a new term coined for them, Andolanjivi. Even the whole foreign destructive ideology comes and is linked to international support growing for the farmer protests. So there seems to be a sense of urgency to quell this.
So Tamanna, very honestly, what the Prime Minister has done today, he has in a way reached out to farmers, asked the opposition by to come around the table and thrash out a solution by referring to the former Prime Ministers like Congress Prime Ministers like Manmohan Singh and Lal Bahadur Shastri. But actually, if you really go to listen to the speech, the tone and tenor of the speech, it's largely political. It's the whole narrative which the BJP and the Prime Minister has so successfully built for themselves in political terms in the last few years. It's always us versus them. So he's actually, while reaching out to the opposition and reaching out to the farmers, he is consolidating the us lobby, and in a manner of speaking, trying to expose the other lobby, whether it's the foreign destructive ideology or Andolanjivi. These are all references and terms coined which appeals to the core support base of not just the BJP, but the huge fan following that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has. So his followers love to lap up such things. So it's again us versus them, consolidating us. Look at the way the sharp retort he had for Derek O'Brien when he was talking about freedom of expression, etc. Oh, are you referring to West Bengal? So it was a very political outreach, correct in some ways, but largely consolidating and reaching out to those in the support base of BJP who are feeling a little bit lost or frustrated or let down or feeling defeated by the fury of the farmer agitation. So again, the Prime Minister has taken charge of the battle, reached out to the farmers, but actually he's consolidating his own ranks. that we will not give up. We know what is right. We know what is good for small and marginal farmers. It's the foreign destructive ideology. It's the Andolan Jivis who are constantly, like they just said, and rightly so in some ways, romanticizing the cause of a revolution. And when he actually said Andolan Jivi, I'm sure Tamanna, all of us thought of a few faces they came to our mind. I won't explain it. So it was very interesting, and that's the thing.
Sanjeev, there is nothing wrong with protesting. It's part of a democracy to protest.
Nothing wrong in ridiculing certain brand of protesters.
Yeah.
It's all politics, Tamanna.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a new term that has been coined today and sets the pace really for the big battle that we're going to see in West Bengal as well. The big thing to point out and look at and track really is whether the two things that the Prime Minister has said, one is that MSP hai or rahega, and the open offer once again to farmers to come to the discussion table, does it fructify into something solid? We'll have to wait and see. We'll take a very short break here. Thank you so much, Sanjeev Srivastava and Tejas Mehta, for joining us as always. On the other side, we're talking about the natural disaster, a glacier burst which hit the Chamoli district of Uttarakhand on Sunday morning. Over 200 are still feared missing, at least 30 dead as well. While it's early to know the exact causes of what really has happened, relief and rescue work is still on. Is it time to start talking about the impact of climate change and rampant development in these ecological sensitive areas of the country? We're coming back with that discussion after a very short break.